This week there is no review. It's a pure interview. I have been working on another project that has taken me over 100 hours already. I stopped counting at some point, but it's taken a while. It's coming. It's coming. It's gonna be great. I hope so. But this week, only a small interview of a game called Dogs Got Talent. It's pretty much Guitar Hero with a very cute art style. I liked the game when I played it. It's not finished, so I wouldn't even review it because I don't review unfinished games. I contacted the developer, we talked for a while, and so here is the interview. So, please introduce yourself and talk about your last game, Dogs Got Talent.
Okay, so my name is Mateus Boga, and the game that I worked on, Dogs Got Talent, was part of a game jam called Games for Good, which was a jam here in Portugal, themed around charity, and basically the themes that we used. We had the choice between 4 themes, and each of the themes was actually given by a charity association. And we chose one which was a charity association about the protection of animals and the preservation and adoption of like dogs and cats and just in general animals who were basically about to get, killed because, and basically it took 48 hours, the whole jam. It was a jam where we had to sleep like in the place. We were in a school, in a university, and we had to sleep. Basically, we had to sleep on the floor, like on one of the classrooms, which had the chairs and the tables were like all cleared, and we had to sleep on the floor with mats and stuff. I really had a lot of fun with that. Like, I did not sleep very well in the 2 nights that that I had to sleep there, but
I can imagine.
But it was good. Yeah, it was good. So yeah, I'm proud of what we did.
Yeah,
we were
it is
a team of.
It's a good, fine little game. I think the idea is there. The base idea could improve on that. So basically, you stole a little bit of question from me, but whatever. I have.
sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So one thing that I noticed was the ability to choose between OneNote and full screen mode, and plus the resolution. Thank you for that, because a lot of indie games just forget to implement that or don't implement that. So what I want to ask you, how much work goes into implementing those features, and why indie devs basically just don't do it or forget to implement that?
I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, it's literally just remembering to do it, because we actually had a lot of time to think about. We basically made the game in the first 24 hours, so we had basically another full day to think about like polishing and the menus and the stuff. So it was more just like we had time to think about it and think, okay, let's put these settings here. Like, that's really just it, because it was not hard. It wasn't hard.
Okay, so
I'm not sure they're working correctly, but
no, it's working correctly as far as I know, as far as I tested it, because that's the first thing I look into a game, like, especially indie games. Do those things work? Because that's a sign for me of quality, basically.
It's attention to detail.
Oh yeah,
basically.
Of course. Yeah, so just do 2 things here. Can you explain what the game is, basically, so people know what it is, so how it plays?
The most simple way I can put it, it's a rhythm game. It's basically you're a dog, and you play as the dog. You're trying to kind of impress this family to let them adopt you, and basically you have to just match the keys to the rhythm. Like, there's a song. It's kind of like Guitar Hero or Dance Dance Revolution. It's basically one of those rhythm games where you just have the 4 keys. In this case, it's 4. And just match it to the tabs, basically.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of Dance Dance Revolution. They're like,
Yeah.
it would be fine if you could play that with the mat or something like that.
Yeah. That was kind of the idea, the first idea we had. So we just kind of went on with that. We had a lot of ideas, and this was just, like, the easiest one for us to do. And we were like, okay, screw it, let's just do that, and then polish it, and it worked.
Yeah,
I guess.
I think it did for like a initial product or minimal viable product. It's very good. If you one thing that happens if you don't complete the stage is that you will be sent back to the shelter, which fits in the theme of animal abuse or animal shelters. So my assumption was basically this is a talent show for foster dogs, but you confirm it's basically a family. I liked games with a little bit of story, so if you could break down the story of Dogs Got Talent, or what was the initial intention, or what you want to do in the future with that.
I mean, as I said, because this was based on a charity association, which was about precisely foster dogs, like the whole process of giving these dogs to families to adopt them, and the actual association actually explained, because each association had to explain what their purpose was. So they actually explained that they go into a process of picking which dogs worked for which families, and so we were kind of like giving that experience of this dog is kind of trying to please this family. Of course, this was not exactly like what they meant, but we thought it was a cool idea of just making this. Yeah, it's like a talent show. It's like the dog is trying to impress this family, to basically for them to adopt the dog. Like that was the main idea.
Yeah, that's what I got basically. I have to confess something. I didn't finish the whole game. The fourth level, I couldn't finish it. So let's talk a little bit about the last level. So the whole game is a little bit on the easier side for difficulty, but the last level just throws everything at you and says, "Yeah, deal with it." I'm pretty sure that was the intention. But and it was a little bit of a joke, but you can you confirm this here?
So basically, let me explain kind of what went through making the levels, because what's really interesting about this game is that this game was actually created with a level editor that we had to make. This was made in Unity, so we had to make a way for us to write down the tabs into the game, but without it being like manually writing it line by line, like writing each note separately. So basically we created a level editor that kind of used your input, and you were like directly putting in the notes as the song was going, as the song was playing. So basically we had our sound designer, which was the guy that made the songs. We had him basically write the whole tabs like in this level editor, so that we then put it into the game, and that was like the official thing. That was the thing that you see in the game. So basically he made this super hard song. And he was like, "Oh god, but this is impossible." And we're like, "Okay, but just do it anyway. Just see what you can do." And basically, you just started bashing the keyboard. And he was like, "Oh my god, I don't know no one's gonna ever be able to do this."
I mean, after half an hour, I got half through the song. But
wow, that's good.
Yeah, but sometimes, but I always miss like. I got basically the rhythm in my head. I'm like, tuck, tuck, pum, 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 pum. And if I wasn't even thinking about it, was playing after the feeling. And I like that. I think if you can get it into the zone, that would be a perfect game. But a few things that I can't see. But I found something out. And basically is the ability to edit the song. If you go into the file menus.
You can do that. You can do that. Which is, we didn't think of that when we were making the game, but yeah, you can go and edit every single note. You can just remove the whole notes, and you can just complete the game with no notes. The game is super broken, but it works.
But that's a feature that I was. Oh, maybe they're trying to make a feature in which you can make your own games, like in Guitar Hero. Like
Yeah,
put your own song.
yeah. I actually about that. I actually made like I grabbed a song from Stradivarius and I actually put it into the game. Of course, it's not available in the official game, but I actually made it kind of like a mod for it.
Yeah.
And that like I have the file, and you can put the file in the game, and it works. It works. And I actually made a playthrough of me playing that song, which is like 4 minutes.
Okay.
Of course, the song probably has copyright, and so I didn't put it like I didn't actually put it on my channel like publicly.
Yeah.
It's a non-listed video, but
Okay.
but yeah, I can show it to you if you want.
No,
but
we can talk about it afterwards. I mean,
yeah,
sure, that's
but,
interesting.
But it's basically this game just can be edited completely. Like you can make songs, you can add the songs. It just works. Yeah, it's very versatile in that sense.
I would like to see a better idea. So with that question, the game is on itch.io right now for free. Do you guys have plans for releasing it on Steam maybe as early access, and then if it picks up, continue the whole thing, or are there no plans at all?
I mean, the sound designer and I are kind of like the guys that are most enthusiastic about this game, I think, because the programmers, we had 3 programmers, and I don't think they're actually that interested in continuing the project, especially like one of them, which was, I think he really did not like the result, but whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, he liked it, but he didn't think that it was good enough because it didn't win anything. So it was like, but I like the game. Like it's kind of dumb, but it's fun at the same time. Like I kind of want to continue it. Yeah,
I did go through the messages that people left, and something was like, "Hey, could you add some more dogs, or could you add customization basically?
Yeah.
Could you add some songs? Could you please add the difficulty?" And so I think there is something there. It's basically it has potential. I think, and with basically Guitar Hero's gone because it was basically a market failure at some point because they were bringing out 2-3 Guitar Heroes a month or a year. Exactly. I think it's time for something that could fill this void, and especially with nice art and like cute art, it can have it can hit a specific market. Well, but that's my opinion.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. No, but I think it might work. Like it might actually have some kind of success if we make it like into a fully fledged game with like dozens of levels and things like that, and different dog breeds, and you could, I don't know, customize the difficulty and stuff. Maybe, I don't know.
Career
you
mode,
could do a lot
story
of things.
mode, and so on. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just a matter of us like having time to put into it, because of course we made this in 48 hours, and we finished it, and each of the developers went his own way, and like I only keep like the contact of like 2 or 3 of them, so it's like
it's difficult. I want to talk a little bit about you a little bit. So on your itch.io page, basically you have 2 prototypes, Spaceship and Pack Solitaire, as well as some almost complete games like Long Road, QS, which is a good wordplay for people that played it, Sonar, and then Dogs Got Talent. Can you go through those games and explain a little bit where they come from, or what were you trying to do, and maybe how well they were received?
Well, I actually started like making games in like 2014, and some of those prototypes that you see, which I only have like, how many do I have?
I think 5. 1, 2, 3.
No, I have.
I have 2 prototypes and 3 games, basically.
Yeah, two prototypes and 4 games. So it's 6.
Yep, I think.
Okay, so basically those two prototypes that I have, Peg Solitaire and Space Hero Prototype, those are just like me just messing around just with those are both with JavaScript.
Mhm.
So I did not actually know how to use Unity
Okay.
at that time. I kind of stopped for a while, and then I learned Unity because I went to have a course at a IT school, and I actually had the Unity course, took a Unity course, and that's when I really started like making good quote unquote games. not great, but games that worked.
Yeah.
And so the first one that I made was the first jam game that I really like completed was The Long Road. Like that
Okay.
was like the idea was basically Oregon Trail, but with
Yeah.
a lot more ambushes, and I don't know. It was basically like a linear. The idea was like a linear road, and the only choices you have are basically what things do you keep in your wagon and what things do you throw away.
Yeah.
That was like it was for Ludum Dare
42?
42, I think, because it was running out of space. The theme it was 42. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I think so. So basically, the idea was like your wagon was running out of space, so you had to throw things away to maintain and also the more things you had on your wagon, the slower it would move.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I actually implemented those things because basically it was the first time that I made like a jam game,
Okay.
like myself, like alone, and so it didn't really work out the way I wanted. And so it's super incomplete. It doesn't like it. It's not a full game. Like in no way is it a functional game. So the next game that I made, which was Q West, I really liked working on that one because basically it was the Sacrifices Must Be Made. So it was Ludum Dare 43.
Okay.
And it was really cool because I had this I was thinking about a bunch of things, and then I suddenly I was thinking of like a idea of you having to sacrifice like things, and you had to basically I went to bed and suddenly I thought, wait a second, what if every time that you move, it's like a turn-based game, every time you move you destroy an item, like the item that you're holding.
Yeah.
Like an inventory that's infinite, but at the same time, it's also infinitely destroying itself.
Yeah.
And I was like, that should be an interesting game. And so I tried to make it, and I think it just works. Like I personally, like I was actually surprised at myself, like because I was kind of paranoid that my previous project did not work out the way I wanted, but this one actually did, and I'm super happy with how it turned out, even though it's like it's not a very big game.
Yeah, it reminded me a little bit about like roguelikes, and the only thing that I would say its criticism is like if it was more like concentrated on puzzles. If you had like a room and the room was basically a puzzle, and then you have because how it is now, right now, it's like you play for 5 minutes, you think, oh, the idea is cool, but it's like yeah.
It doesn't have like progression. It doesn't have different like things that you can do. It's only just attacking. Like I had originally the ideas were like I had keys which you could open. I thought like you could open chests or like locked rooms, and inside those rooms maybe there would be like, I don't know, new items that you could add to like the inventory, and they would actually like the inventory would start with like a few items which kept scrolling, of course, because you keep sacrificing them, but as the game would progress you get more and more items, and then it's suddenly a lot harder because there's more items that are not the ones that you need at that moment. So you have to scroll through a lot more of them, and that was kind of the idea. The whole difficulty was the number of items that you have.
Yeah, it was a good idea, I think.
Yeah. So I might eventually implement that, but I don't know exactly when because I'm a bit busy right now. And
okay, so Sonar was the next one. That game I didn't finish either, but I thought the how it looked like underwater thing, and you have to push the levers. I thought it was cool.
Oh yeah, Sonar.
Yeah,
that was the thing is, I honestly did not like working on that game
Oh, okay.
because even though it's kind of okay, like it kind of works. The game is functional. It has a main menu. It has music. I tried to really like compensate with the sound design, compensate for the lack of features that it has. But I'm not entirely proud of that one because it's just I don't know. It's just you running away from jellyfish and jellyfish that you can barely see, and the sonar only updates like once every second or something.
Yeah.
And it's like it's really frustrating. I think the game. It's not. I don't really because the theme was limited view. It was actually a Discord gem, the first one.
Okay.
So I try to make like the limited view the fact that you have the sonar and you can barely see anything like in front of you and have to use the sonar to see things. But the problem is the sonar doesn't show up the things that you doesn't show the things that you need to collect, which is a bit frustrating because it should, but I didn't put that in. Oh god, it was a mess. That game is a bit of a mess, but oh well, it's an experience, and I think I learned from that.
Yeah, because I'm not afraid of water, but I'm afraid of the deep sea. So as I got into basically in the cabin, and even though it's a very simple game, I'm like, oh, this is good. This is great. I want something.
The atmosphere, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the atmosphere is really the best part of that game. It kind of gives you that like sort of tension because you have like that.
Exactly.
You have always that sonar.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
That was kind of the idea of it.
Yeah, and as far as I know, you're basically still working on Dogs Got Talent, but what are you working on right now? What are the plans for the future? As far as I know, you don't have a dev team, but you are working with other developers. So tell us about that a little bit.
Okay, well, right now I'm really just kind of figuring out where I want to go with my games and with whom do I want to work with, because there's, for instance, this Ludum Dare that's coming, Ludum Dare 44. I'm really nervous actually because I don't know if I'm going to be able to work with someone and if we're going to actually be able to make a game, because I'm a bit paranoid because most of the games that I worked on with teams were complete failure. Like they did not work out. They were never finished. It really sucks. Like the only exception was Dogs Got Talent. Like that's literally the only game that I've made with a team that actually worked. So, yeah. I
mean, it's difficult to work in a team. So
yeah.
I can understand why most of those things don't work. And now interviewing developers and so on, so you see where they fail. Most of the times they fail because of marketing reasons, but you see also, I'm working on a project right now in which I catalog early access titles, and the reason number one for early access titles just vanishing is basically team devs not understanding each other.
So, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it's really just either like the programmers don't agree on what language they should program on, or there's a guy that just wants way too much to focus on the story and forgets like basic gameplay mechanics and stuff. Yeah, it's like it's so complicated when that happens. It's it's a big shame because I had like a team a while ago in I joined it in 2015 and I quit it in 2016. And like it was a team that I really liked because it was actually formed by a friend of mine of like I knew him for a really long time actually. An American friend. And like it was actually working. I mean, our programmer was not working very well. Like that was the problem. That was basically like the downfall was the programmer was like, I want other people to do this, like because he was supposedly like the lead programmer.
Yeah.
And so he did not work because the other programmers were not working, and so the programmers started like it was really complicated. But like I really, it's a shame that didn't work out because I really wanted that to work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I liked the people that I worked with, but eventually it just didn't work.
Yeah, things like that happen. I mean,
yeah. That happened to me a couple times actually with like teams that just
that's why you basically need a team lead, the asshole that actually comes down and everyone hates, but everyone knows without him it wouldn't work out. I know teams like that. Like you have to have someone that you can hate so that everyone hates equally instead of each other. That's basically So I'm how's it called in English? I forgot the name. But basically, I go to companies and say, "This is what you can do with your technology," and most of the times in our company, same thing. You have to have someone that everybody hates, because if you don't have that person, they will hate each other. So you have you have the guy, the team lead that doesn't do anything. Basically, everyone thinks they doesn't, and he or she doesn't do anything. But he's the main character, basically. If it was an anime, he would be basically the villain. But without the villain, the story wouldn't go forward.
Yeah, it's basically the scapegoat.
Yeah, scapegoat.
The one that gets blamed on everything.
Yeah, he takes responsibility for everything. If everything goes bad, he's the one who takes the fall. That's but that's a difficult role to take. So yeah,
it is
good. So since we're talking about the mistakes and so on, one of the last questions I like to ask, we can talk a little bit more, but one of the questions I like to ask is, what advice would you give to people that are making their own games and they are starting out right now?
Oh God, I don't know if I can give any good advice. I think the best advice I can give is don't overthink it and just try to make something that works. Because that's like the most important thing. Like if a game does not work, it's not a good game. And like just make something that's simple that you can like explain it in like 2 phrases and then just expand on that. And sure, like when I mean expand, I don't mean like add a million features. I mean like just make it more of that thing. Just like pick one thing and just make that more. Like make more levels, make more. I don't know. Make a story that has like more. It's longer. I don't know. Just make it simple. Make something simple, and I think that's really just the most important thing, because you got to make things. You can't just start off by I mean, sure, you can dream big, and you should dream big. Like that's like your objective, but you shouldn't be blinded by that objective. You shouldn't like only want to do big games, because sure, maybe one day you'll be able to make that big like AAA game that you're thinking about, but you have to start somewhere. You have to start small and just make simple games. Just start simple. That's my advice.
Okay, good, great. If you have anything to share, now it's your time. Plug everything, everything you want. Say anything you want, except for illegal stuff. But please, the floor is yours. Please share everything with us you want to share.
I'm working on a comic, because actually games is not like my main. I mean, sure, you could say it's my main hobby or my main thing, but I actually make comics. Like that's one thing that I've been trying to make for a long time, and I'm actually working on a comic right now, and it's called Lisa, and it's almost finished. Like I'm actually like about more than halfway done with it, and I don't actually know when it's coming out. It's one of those projects that you just don't know, because I'm doing it in my free time. I don't know when it's coming out, but maybe this next month of May, or maybe June. I don't know, but it's actually something that it's a project I've been working. I've been thinking about like for a really long time. It's about relationships, and it's a story of of an engineer that cannot find love, and he builds himself a girlfriend.
Oh, okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's only 20 pages, but it's a really, I think it's an interesting story. So
Okay.
I think people will like it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my little personal project
Good.
that I'd like to plug.
I will I will link everything in the description, everything you want, and thank you for the interview. Thank you very
thank
much.
you.
And
Thank you.
I think we're done here. Thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
My pleasure was mine. Thank you for watching the video so far. The developer actually made a new game in the meantime that I also pretty much enjoy. I linked everything in the description if you want to check that out. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what you have to do. Subscribe, leave a comment, like, whatever the YouTube gods expect you to do. Anyways, always take care of yourselves and have a nice day. We will see each other next time.